for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The vision of the Auburn Public Schools is to educate and prepare students for the opportunities and challenges of a changing world. Our commitment: we will create, maintain, and support an environment that fosters a sense of belonging for all students in our schools, respecting race, color, sex, religion, national origin, sexual orientation, gender identity, homelessness, poverty, spoken language, and ability.
Okay, thank you, Dr. McCrillis. Is anyone here for citizens' comments?
Boys don't want to speak?
No.
No.
Seeing none, we do not have special recognitions tonight. I will seek approval of the minutes from February 28th, 2024.
I'll make a motion to accept the meeting minutes from February 28th, 2024.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, it is a vote. And we do have Bella here tonight, so we will move on to the the student representative's report.
Sure, I'll be superintendent.
You
That's
can
totally
take that
fine.
tonight if you want.
Don't give me that sort of power. It'll go straight to my head. I know myself too well.
So cute.
All right, so I have a few things to talk about, and all of them I'm looking at are fun. So going in chronological order, we had voting day at the school. We had Super Tuesday. So the AP government classes, every year they get to sign up for doing volunteering at the voting events, and I did that, and I was there for probably around 12 hours in total, and a bunch of us did. Half of the people, I won't say that I'm not one of them. You're excused from class to do that, but I met so many cool people doing that. All of the people that, I met the town clerk, Ginger. She's super sweet. She's amazing. Everybody that is just so dedicated, and then I got to do the fun shift. So I did the first shift that starts at 6 in the morning where you set everything up, and then I did the last shift, which goes till, it's supposed to go till 9:30, but I learned that you can't take a break between counting the votes, so you just keep going. So I got to do that part, and that was really cool. I actually had so much fun, and you get all sorts of people that come in, and some of them are fun, and some of them just give you funny stories to tell. But I signed up. She was so grateful for our help, and it was such an amazing experience. I sound like such a nerd, but to say democracy in action, it was really, really cool. And I am not 18, so I was so sad when I got to see all of my classmates come in and cast their first vote, and I had a sticker that said future voter on it. That's okay. I'll vote in November, that's important too, but that's okay. It's not my time yet. But I already signed up. I think there's another one in May, so I will be doing that one too.
Great. I hope you got some free food out of that.
Oh, we did. There was
good.
pizza. There was coffee. She brought her, Keurig situation, because that's what was needed that day.
Yeah. Good.
Oh, yeah, everyone got snacks. So, let me see. There was a ski trip this last weekend, and I am not in ski club, but I did go on the ski trip. It was to Sugarloaf, Maine. I could not tell you where that is. I'm horrible at navigation, but it was 6 hours to get up there. Which, it wasn't that bad because we did stop in the middle, and it was so much fun. It was an amazing mountain. I loved it. I had so much fun up there. And while we were up there, we got lucky. They got 15 inches of snow.
Wow.
It was crazy and exhausting.
Wow.
But that was so much fun. And we just came back, and I was trying not to fall asleep on Monday. So tomorrow night, we have induction for NHS. So all of the new members in any of the grades that starts middle of your sophomore year, you can apply, and then everyone who got accepted got a letter, and they will be inducted tomorrow by other members of NHS. It's really cool to see all the siblings that get inducted by their older siblings. Unfortunately, that won't be me. My brother's only a freshman. But that'll be super fun. There's been a rehearsal today, and there will be another one tomorrow. And then next Thursday is Mr. Auburn, which I went to for the first time junior year because, unfortunately, COVID cut that down. It is so much fun. So if you can go, you really should, because I know all the people who are in it, and let me tell you, they've been working them hard. The choreographers, it's gonna be a huge production. Speaking of productions, the play is coming up, I think, in a few weekends. It is The Hunchback of Notre Dame. And I believe the French class is attending because they're reading that in French. I would try to say it to you in French if I didn't think it was going to be just not good for any of us. I take Spanish, okay? That's not my strong suit. Yesterday was club photos taken for the yearbook, which was super fun. I realized how many clubs I'm actually in, and it really is important. I was telling all the freshmen and their parents at the orientation how important it is to get involved in clubs in high school, not just for your resume, but also all the people that I've met that I wouldn't have ever spoken to, just because we're in different grades. And I did manage to procure for myself a math team, Auburn Mathlete sweatshirt,
Awesome.
so
Very nice.
which is super cool, and I did wear that around. My brother did not appreciate that. And it is the end of the trimester. Well, that was yesterday, so today was the first day of the third trimester, which means I have like 2 months left, which is scary and exciting.
Wow.
So we had all of our finals done, and for a bunch of people, classes changed. For some of us, they did not. Finals are done. I don't know who made the rule that if you have above a 90 in a class as a senior, you don't have to take the finals, but I love that person. And I would like to say thank you. So a lot has happened. A lot of it is fun. All of it is good news. Not that I usually have bad news, but yeah, it's been, and now the weather's warming up. It's just perfect.
Yep, definitely. Wow,
awesome.
that was a great report.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Oh, also spring sports are starting, so I will be playing tennis.
Oh, when does that start?
The 21st, I think, officially, but I believe I saw the boys outside having captain's practices.
Wow,
So,
awesome.
yeah,
good
we're
luck.
really excited.
I think Special Olympics is this weekend too, right? At the high
I
school.
believe so,
Like
yes.
ceremonies and stuff.
Mhm.
Is that this weekend?
Yeah, I thought so. I don't know. I could be wrong.
Disney
16.
breakfast next weekend.
Yes, the juniors, I did that
Yes,
last
on
year,
the
and that was so
23rd.
much fun, yes.
Yep.
Gonna be
Lots
fun.
of good stuff happening.
Mhm.
Awesome.
Wow. Well, thank you for that
Thank you.
lively
Thank
report.
you. I know, I talked a lot on that one. I know, let's-
That was good. It was good. All right, we will move on to the superintendent's report, and we have Dr. Chamberlain via Zoom tonight. So I'll hand it over to you, Dr. Chamberlain.
Good evening, Madam Chair, and I want to thank everyone for accommodating me for this unusual situation that I was not able to attend the meeting in person. But we do have a couple of things this evening that are somewhat timely that we need to move on. So again, thank you for allowing me to do this. So at the last meeting, I presented to you an update on my goals for this school year, as well as some evidence of things that I have done throughout the year that can help to inform the evaluation process that all of you will undertake on my behalf. And seemingly that timeline looks at potentially getting information, I think, to you, Madam Chair, next Wednesday, and then for a report out the following week. So this evening was intended to allow any of the members, if anyone had any questions on the information that was shared at the last meeting, to ask me any questions that that might need clarification. Yes, and so that's the opportunity to do so.
Okay, thank you. I will open it up for questions. Yep, Sam?
I have a question on page 4 of the, it says superintendent's performance goals at the top. It's unclear what we need to do on that page. Are we supposed to rewrite your student learning goal, professional practice goal, and then the district improvement goals, or? Because that's a little unclear on what we need to be doing on that page.
Can you tell me again where you are? I'm
Page
I'm
4 of
looking.
7. It's the one that says superintendent's performance goals. I don't know. It has like on it the goal, student learning goal, professional practice goal, district improvement goal, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Focus.
Yeah, so
indicators.
that's, so that information, so you don't have to do anything on that form.
Okay.
It's, that information also informs the overall evaluation. So typically what I do is just provide, and they don't necessarily, I think on the evaluation form, there's a place for the rating of to what degree you think I met the goals. And so that's what that information is for. And I'm sorry if I'm not answering your question, if you want to ask that again.
No, so I just want to know, do we need to fill anything out on that page?
I'm sorry, I'm having a little trouble hearing you.
Sorry, do we need to fill anything out on that page? Because it says superintendent must identify at least 1 student learning goal, 1 professional practice goal, and 2 to 4 district improvement goals. Do we need to fill that page out, or do we need to leave it blank?
No, leave that blank.
Okay, that's the only question I have.
Yes.
Okay. Anyone else?
I do not have any.
I do not.
Nope, I don't either. So I guess that's it. You're off the hook.
All right. Well,
All right.
very good. I appreciate again your accommodation for this evening. But yes, if along the way, if when it comes time when you're actually filling out the form to turn them into you, Madam Chair, if anyone has any questions, please feel free to reach out.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. You're welcome to stay on, or you can go home.
Oh, no,
You're
I'm
staying.
staying.
Bye, Bella. I was, yeah, you too. All right, well, thank you for that. I will turn it over to you, Mr. Keller. Oh, my goodness.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So included in your packet is a draft of the Auburn Public Schools Student Opportunity Act plan. So all districts across the Commonwealth are required to submit student opportunity acts. This was enacted by the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education in 2019, and it requires all districts to set clear targets for improving disparities among student groups. These student opportunity acts must align with the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education's strategic objectives, and those objectives must be supported with evidence-based programs. So what you'll see in front of you in the Student Opportunity Act, and so I'm going to review it, but ultimately my request of you is to provide your insight, feedback, and I welcome your questions. And then at the next school committee meeting on March 27th, I will be seeking your approval of this plan. We then submit plans to the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education in April, at the beginning of April. So I'll review it. And then obviously if you have any questions tonight or feedback, and then we can also talk about that at the next meeting. So the first item on here, so we have three different initiatives. The first program is to implement a multi-tiered system of support that helps all students progress both academically and in their social, emotional, and behavioral development. So you probably have heard us talk about MTSS before, but ultimately it is how, Tier 1 is kind of what we give to all students. It's kind of the base of a triangle, if you can imagine. And then the second tier of that is what some students need for additional support if they're not meeting the goal of Tier 1, or if they need just some additional support. That could be typically a very temporary support. And then Tier 3 is those students who might need some intensive supports for some period of time. And so just wanted to explain that kind of multi-tiered, which I know you've heard before. But so in terms of looking at that academics and social emotional, the work that we've done to date, you're familiar with the work that we've done for 3 years now on Universal Design for Learning in all of our classrooms, pre-K through 12. In this academy, we establish UDL coaches at each school who regularly receive and provide professional development to staff. The UDL coach positions are now a permanent part of our instructional leadership structure. At the elementary level, K through 5, we've established positive behavioral interventions and supports for our PBIS program. During the summer of 2023, each school assembled a school culture and climate team that reviewed handbooks and assured alignment to culturally responsive practices. Those groups are continuing throughout the year in school improvement teams that are taking place at each. This year, as I mentioned to you before, actually I think Dr. Chamberlain did in my absence, the work we're doing with a social emotional behavioral academy, where we have a group of staff members, K through 12, aiming at developing consistent practices from school to school. Do you want me to stop there, or do you want me to go through each of them and then you can ask any questions that you have? What would you prefer, Madam Chair?
Yeah, keep going.
Okay. The second program is to select and skillfully implement high-quality and engaging instructional materials that support culturally and linguistically sustaining practices and foster deeper learning. In 2021, the schools underwent an equity audit that was led by CLE, the Center for Leadership and Educational Equity. We received a lot of recommendations and a lot of feedback from that audit, one of which included making sure that we are carefully looking at materials that meet the needs of all of our learners. And that has been a big initiative in the state. That is certainly a big initiative in our district, to making sure that our instructional materials meet a high level of quality and meet all of our students' needs. So in the near future, we'll be examining a variety of instructional materials. We have K through 5 math, 6 through 8 math, 3 to 5 social studies, 6 through 8 social studies, science at the 6 through 8 level, and then K-12 health. And so ensuring that we are adhering to those practices is obviously important as we move forward. And then our third program that we're looking for, that we're presenting tonight in terms of our Student Opportunity Act, is to ensure that our co-teaching model, as well as, implementing academic supports and interventions that provide all students, particularly students with disabilities and multilingual learners, equitable access to deeper learning. So our co-teaching model is something that we want to pay particular attention to. So special education and general education teachers working hand in hand and making sure that they are delivering instruction in appropriate ways. Also, other evidence-based instructional practices such as supporting students with language-based needs and ensuring that teachers have practices to address their needs. So those are the three programs that we're bringing forward. Another piece of the Student Opportunity Act is partnerships within our community. And so I would ask you to take a look, and this was a conversation and a brainstorm with our administrative team. We received feedback from teachers in the district as well. But, you know, obviously we have a tremendous support from our community, the PTO. Dr. Chamberlain sends out superintendent updates, principal updates, great support from police and fire, Chamber of Commerce, Auburn Youth and Family, local businesses, and I think, and you mentioned it earlier, our Special Olympics program is one of the top in the state. So I would also ask your feedback for what we might have missed in putting this together, other areas where we have partnerships within our community that support our schools. So the last thing I'll say, unless you have questions, is that Dr. Chamberlain shared this plan with all parents in her recent newsletter, and so she asked for feedback in that regard. And then each principal is also asking their school councils for feedback on the Student Opportunity Act, in addition to what we seek from you.
Great. All right. Any questions or comments?
So we don't have that feedback yet from,
No, we don't have, well, so some of the principals have shared some feedback from their school councils. Others haven't. I think their school council hasn't met yet. And I believe Dr. Chamberlain has not received feedback yet on the Student Opportunity Act, correct?
Okay.
No, I checked this afternoon. We sent that out as a Google form, and we've not received any feedback from the community as yet.
okay.
All right, Sam?
Through the chair, I'm just wondering, would it make sense to separate program 1 into 2? Because I feel like it's important that we implement the multi-tiered system of support, the MTSS, and I'm seeing it done really well at, like, I can only talk about Packagug because that's where my kid is, but I'm seeing it done really well at PAC, and I'm sure it's being done just as well at Bryn Mawr. But I just wonder if, like, separating the academic and then, like, the social emotional behavior. Just thinking they're like, maybe it makes sense to say, you know, implement that and then implement, just a thought.
Yeah, it's a good thought. So one of the things I'll say to that, and I need to spend a little more time and take a look at that. I think it's a great point, is that some of the pieces of this are straight from the Department of Elementary and
Yeah.
Secondary Education. So I will take a look and see if that's okay to separate those or if they need to be together.
It just
But-
might be interesting. And then the other thing for partnerships within the community, if we put like local sports, because we do open up like our facilities to local sports
Yeah.
teams, and, you know, they come in and help us as well, so.
Great, thank you.
Through the chair, just because I'm going through a training right now, but they may have it together because if a student isn't socially emotionally regulated, it's going to impact their academics,
It's true, yeah.
might be the reason.
And I can add, when I've done this previously, some of these things, you can only select what they provide. You can't,
Oh, got
it's not like you're writing a lot of it yourself. There are certain things, there's a certain template you have to follow.
Oh, that makes sense.
Oh, I see. So there's a long list of programs you can choose from?
Yeah, so this ties back to the strategic vision of the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education. So they, you know, just like when we have a district improvement plan, we want school improvement plans to fall underneath that umbrella. So our district improvement plan should fall under the department, Massachusetts DESI's, exactly. So, so they do have some. Obviously, there's room for districts to input their own information here, but for the most part, it is kind of spelled out what they want to make sure that you fall under.
Makes sense to keep it streamlined.
Yeah. It seems like we're kind of ahead of the game when it comes to the UDL. A lot of districts aren't even, they don't have that in motion yet, so
I would agree.
we're doing well.
And it, just in terms of in motion and also like as an initiative, but also some of the work that the UDL coaches are doing in the schools has been really impressive to keep this going. And we've talked at length about making sure that, because we're now in our third year and we'll no longer be working with the professional development provider, but making sure that we can keep this moving and going forward.
Awesome. All right. Any more questions or comments? No? All right, continue to look that over, and then we will revisit that at the next meeting.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, Cecilia, I'll turn it over to you for business and financial
Good evening,
report.
everyone. In your packet, I provided a year-to-date budget report dated March 6, 2024 for your review. And with that, I provided a listing of budget transfers dated March 6 between the same series for your information and between different series for which I'm seeking your approval. And I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have with regard to that.
Any questions or comments? Seeing none, I will seek a motion to approve the list of transfers.
I'll make a motion to approve the list of transfers dated March 6, 2024, as presented by the business manager.
I'll second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much, and that's my report.
Okay.
And sweet.
This might be the quickest meeting ever. Boy Scouts, you picked a good one.
You picked a great night.
Maybe they should come back for a second one so they
Yeah,
get the full
get
experience.
the full experience, yes. Yeah, I'm pretty sure 20 minutes is a record, so. And we do not need executive session tonight.
No, we do not.
So I will seek a motion to adjourn.
I will make that motion.
I'll second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, good night, everyone. Good night,
night.
Dr. Chamberlain.
Thank you very much. Good